Hello everyone. Today is a very special edition. We have a guest who is very special that we would like to introduce to you, and we're gonna spend a good 1 hour knowing our guest and ask all the questions that you probably have in mind. So today I'm very excited to host Nadia Rasul. She's a candidate running for the city of Hilliard, and it's a city that's very special in my heart because I spent 5 years in the city. My kids went to the schools in the city of Hilliard, and I'm very honored to host Nadia Rasul. Nadia, welcome.
Thank you so much. Thank you so much for having me. I appreciate you reaching out, and I would love to let your audience know who I am and that I'm running for Hilliard City Council on May 6th. And if they live in Hilliard, I would appreciate that. I hope that I can earn their vote today.
And I'm sure you will, because we love your smile, we love your energy, your positivity, and something
Thanks.
that we need in the world. It's running crazy right now.
It is, yeah.
So let's start with the question that I always start for my audience.
Yeah.
Who is Nadia?
Who am I? That's not an easy question. I'm a lot of things. First of all, I'm a daughter of immigrants. So my family came from Palestine. So I'm Palestinian immigrant. They were Palestinian immigrants, and my father worked in the steel mills in Youngstown to just raise us. And he ended up bringing most of his brothers and sisters and cousins and everybody to Youngstown, Ohio. So there's a huge Palestinian population in Youngstown.
Wow, that's great.
Yeah, it was. So I grew up there, and I came to Columbus. I got married and went to Ohio State College of Pharmacy.
Okay.
I graduated from the College of Pharmacy. I've been a pharmacist in Hilliard I graduated in 92, so 33 years.
Wow.
And all 4 of my kids went to school in Hilliard, Davidson High School. I'm a mom, I'm a pharmacist, I'm a Palestinian, I'm an activist. I also volunteer with the PCRF, the Palestine Children's Relief Fund. We bring kids here to have treatment here in Columbus, and then we send them back. Now, of course, the situation's a little bit different, so we haven't brought kids here. They're usually going now closer to Palestine.
Wow, it's a very inspiring story.
Yeah, so that's
a lot
me.
Of things, like you said. I love that. And what made you run to the City Council of Hilliard? How the idea came?
Okay, so that's a great question. Why am I running? And I'm pretty busy, but I feel like there was a need for me. It's not the first time people have reached out to me and said, Nadia, you should be running for Hilliard City Council. And I said, it's not for me. It's not for me. Kind of wanted to stay out of politics. How it's just not something that people go into and say, this is really, really what I do. But I felt like there was a need. There was a need for me. There was a void there. City Council was not representing its constituents.
Okay.
Hilliard has changed in the 36 years that I've been there, but City Council has not changed.
Okay.
So I think today, this year, there's a chance for us to have City Council look more like its residents.
More diverse, representing different cultures and different backgrounds.
Yeah.
And
when we first built our home in Hilliard in 1991, my husband and I still live in our
wow,
home.
Probably Hilliard was different then, right?
Yes, it was totally different. And I was a student, and I was a new mom, and I didn't really go to the city council meetings, and it didn't mean that I didn't care about the city. It's just how you're too busy when the kids are young. You're running around everything they're doing and chasing that. So I didn't get involved, but I always cared about what was going on in my city. So I feel like I could be that person. I understand what it's like to raise kids in Hilliard. I could be that connection from Hilliard City Council to the residents.
Right.
And so that you don't have to be there every day, every other week when they have the meetings, that you will find out from City Council, you will find out from your neighbors. I want to be that connection.
That's great. That's fantastic. So I prepared some questions for you.
I hope they're not too difficult.
Trust me, they're not. I think you're doing fantastic. So what do you think you can bring to the table when it comes to, and hopefully you get the votes and you're gonna be elected, what you're gonna bring to the table to the city?
Okay, what will I bring to the table? I was born in Ohio. Palestinian American. I worked in Hilliard for 30 years. I have a home in Hilliard. I raised children in Hilliard. They graduated from Hilliard schools. I'm immersed. I'm committed to this community. I'm rooted in this community, and I have a lot of experiences to share, and I know what I was missing when I was in their shoes.
Yeah.
The average age of a Hilliard resident is 36 years of age. And so I was there when I was 36.
Yes, yeah.
So I know what it's like to raise kids so that I can be their voice, and so that Hilliard is growing rapidly, like one of the fastest growing cities in Columbus and
100%.
suburbs in Columbus.
Yes.
Yeah. So you see that. And traffic is crazy,
Yes.
and the buildings are going up everywhere.
Schools are getting filled
And
too.
yes.
I
And-
was looking for a house and it took me 2 years. Like it's packed, so that's why I had to go somewhere else. But I really enjoy Hilliard,
Yeah.
and it's always close to my heart. Like a lot of friends are there, a lot of my neighbors, and that I still in touch with, and a lot of the Arabs community. Like there is a lot of businesses there, and I think it's great, right?
Yeah.
You see the diversity, you see like the mix of culture in Hilliard, and I think it's gonna be fantastic having you in the
Yeah.
office. So.
Yeah.
So my second question is, what is your long-term vision for Hilliard?
My long-term vision is more growth, probably figuring out the traffic situations. I was also on the Hilliard Recreation and Parks Commission.
Yes.
So
The new
I was.
ones.
I think that connecting the rails to trails, the parks. I love our small businesses, the charm of Hilliard. The charm. We have just a unique mix of so many cultures, and that people come from all over. Even
True.
you're
Yes.
probably driving a lot to come to Hilliard to
True.
our businesses.
Yes.
Yeah, we have a lot of great small businesses. So I think that we just need to have the growth still there, but in a way that the residents want.
That's a really good point. That's taking me to my next question,
Okay.
which is like, how do you plan to balance growth, as you mentioned, and development while preserving Hilliard's small town charm? So it's
Yes,
right.
yes, exactly. Well,
It's
yeah,
hard to find that balance.
Right. But if we figured that balance, we probably would be, we'd be running for president, but not
never know.
not just city council. But you're right that we need to preserve the charm of Hilliard, because that's what why people stay in Hilliard.
Yeah.
But when I've been going canvassing from house to house, that is a huge concern of people. That it's just growing too much.
Amazon warehouse.
Yes.
It's been building there. It's
Yes.
took big
Yeah.
big part of the land, right?
Yes, absolutely.
I mean, I drive by there every day,
Uh-huh.
and it's amazing how constructions and that's affect people who live there.
Yeah.
How they respond to that? Are they like happy, or like, I know it's gonna create jobs and it's gonna
Yeah.
help the economy,
Yeah.
especially in Hilliard.
Right.
But how they are taking that?
So everybody, we want growth. I mean, growth is good, right? You don't want to be stagnant, staying
Yes.
just in the way you are. So growth is great. It's just the way the growth is and where it is, right? That's the concern.
Yeah.
Nobody wants this growth in their backyard. Right, and a lot of people don't find out about that growth till they start digging in their backyard.
Yeah.
Right,
Communication
And then,
is a big
then they go
part.
crazy and they come to city council all around. So I want to be that bridge that you don't just find out about something being built in your backyard and you don't have a say-so in it. So I think that everybody has. So I think growth is great. It just has to be the way the city wants it, right? And the residents want that.
Yes.
And then if the developer and the engineers and the residents get together, we can all come to a compromise.
100%. That's great. So my next question to you, and I really enjoy talking to Nadia, because we didn't know each other before,
No.
and that's how we connected to social media. You're very active in social media, which is fantastic, right? Is that bring you younger audience, or is that the way how you planning to stay connected with the city of Hilliard residents? Or it's one of the ways that you would plan
One
to?
of the ways. I think that, first of all, we can't deny social media, right? I mean,
It's
as
part
much
of
as
our life
right,
right
it's part
now.
of our And I think that whatever people, it's like when you open your phone first thing in the morning. It used to be you checked your email first. Now it's not. Now it's you check your social media first, right? So that's why if whatever it is that people are looking at, and to get my name out there, to show them what I'm doing, how am I going to show the city what benefits I can bring is by my social media. But I'm glad you enjoy it.
I am.
Yes, it's a little plug for my Instagram. So Nadia for Hilliard.
There we go. We'll add your page to the Instagram page, and I don't know if you have any other platforms.
I have my website. www.nadia.com and Facebook, but you all know not everybody's using Facebook anymore. So, but yeah.
Are you happy with the infrastructure in Hilliard?
First of all, I think that the city of Hilliard is great, and it's thriving, and our financial health is great. So I think that there's so many great things about Hilliard. I just think that there's a lot of great plans, and sometimes those plans are great on paper, but they're not being executed. So I want to make sure that those great plans that the city has spent 10 years developing and putting together, and that we execute that we don't just put them on paper and pen and leave them sitting somewhere.
That's a great point.
Yeah.
There is so many things that the city can benefit from, and also the people who are living in Hilliard, right?
Yeah.
When it comes to creating jobs, like the employment rate, how it is right now, plus what's going on, there's a lot of concerns about people, the cost of living is going up, and then inflation. What do you think is this business is going to help Hilliard, and how the owners of the small businesses live in this situation?
I think that the small businesses, first of all, the ones that are thriving because we're bringing more people in, and the charm of Hilliard. And as far as other jobs, that we need to probably bring in jobs that are a little bit more higher paying.
Correct.
I think that these warehouses are great. They're just not creating the type of jobs that I would like to see in Hilliard.
Job too.
Right.
It's
right. Physical, and they're not, paying as much. And I was telling them we had a forum with all 7 candidates. My son has 2 jobs, and he can't afford to buy a house in Hilliard. It's just crazy. Yeah.
That's true.
Yeah.
And the demand is there. That's the crazy part, right? I mean, when I was looking at a house right there in Hilliard, you will find a house, but the problem, there's gonna be 15 other people looking for the same thing, and you're gonna have to bid a higher price.
Yeah.
With that money, you can build something, somewhere else.
Yes.
And that's what's happening now for a lot of people.
Yeah.
They're trying to, go to the suburb and trying to leave Hilliard, and we don't want that, right?
Right.
So, hopefully, in the future, we'll have a plan. I know there is still, some lands in Hilliard, but the prices for the houses are really expensive, so...
Hilliard wasn't like that, of course, people wanted to live elsewhere, and we built our house in Hilliard because there was nobody there. So these cities grow, and the suburbs, and I think the charm and the way Hilliard is now is what's attracting people.
True.
We just need to find homes, find a middle ground where it's not $600,000 homes for a young starting family,
100%,
right?
100%. So what role do you see youth program and the services, when it comes to the community, for example, what we can offer to the young generation, the kids that now they want to be involved in the community and try to do something fun so they can learn the responsibility on their young age. How we can come up with, get the young generation a little bit involved on that.
That's funny that you say that, because I met with the police chief the other day.
Okay.
And we talked about that because his children were he's going to be a grandfather and I'm going to be a grandmother. We were talking about what we want to see for our grandkids in Hilliard.
Yes.
So what we thought about is that there really isn't any opportunity for these kids to learn real life skills.
True.
We were talking about even phone etiquette and how to
social media,
how to maneuver it, life with a phone, without a phone, or living on your own, or things like that. There's home ec classes in high school, but that's not enough about the whole, and how to find a job and how to learn different skills
True.
that can set you up for your future. So I really think there is a great a great opportunity that we have to tap into, how to teach more life skills and lessons for these young kids for their real life.
Yeah.
Okay. Education is fabulous. My kids did well in school. They graduated from Ohio State, and that's all great.
Yeah.
But once you leave that enclosed environment, that safe environment, then what? Right?
There is like a little bit of shock, right? When they get their job or like they join like a big company, and those young kids now, they struggle, socializing with people, networking, because like they have their bubble, which is social media, they live in fake world or like, virtual world.
Right.
And they have a hard time, to learn like the people skills and how to have a conversation, how, to ask questions, how, I can ask for help when it's needed. Because like it's easy now with, ChatGPT and wherever the resources they have online, it's the access to information is super easy for them.
Right.
And it's concerning, right? I have 2 girls, right? And I try like to have them like socialize, go play outside, with their friends and ask questions and talk and be curious instead of like stay connected all the time.
Yeah.
What's your advice to, our young generation now, and how we can, take advantage of what we have and take the positive thing from it, and try to, develop our skills and try, to learn different things and socialize with people.
Right. Yeah, that's a great point. You do need to use the technology that we have for the betterment of yourself and the world, of course. But there's a lot of things. I'll give you an example. As a pharmacist, we would hire technicians in all the time. And they're over 18 and they're usually in college. But the one thing that they all had in common is they were kind of afraid of the phone. The phone in the pharmacy would ring. Nobody wanted to answer it. They weren't familiar with what a phone is and what to do with it.
Yeah.
We had to teach them how to answer a phone and what to do with that because they don't. It's mostly, texting and that. So I think that connection to the
real world,
and to other people, because you can learn so much. Even working from home is different than going into the office.
Yes.
So I think that just meeting people and learning from each other and the differences in each other are what make us grow and learn
and connected
and connect. Yeah.
I watched a documentary like 2 weeks ago, and in Europe, I don't remember the country, but like they have a huge issue, on the young generation, they are not socializing, they're using drugs and all that kind of stuff. And, the city, we're thinking about like how we're gonna serve those kids, how we're gonna keep them like busy, how we're gonna make them connected with each other. Yeah. And they ended up by building like houses when kids can go. You have entertainment, you have games, you have books, you have, when everybody can meet there, connect, talk, grab a coffee, talk about it. So they're trying to keep them busy instead of like just being on the street or like online. And it worked. And actually it worked. And now it's become like one of the lowest rates of people unhappy in the world.
Wow.
They know what the issue is, and they came up with the solution, and they tried it and it worked. So I wish like, in the future we can have something like this. And I know here we have parks, people can find hobbies, can find, something that they're passionate about. Yeah. But unfortunately, just finding that balance between the real world and the virtual world, I think that's where they're struggling a little bit. Yeah. So I hope we're going to figure out in the future.
I hope so, inshallah. That would be great, yeah.
So what do you want people to know about Nadia? Why people should vote for you?
I believe that I should earn people's vote because I'm a dedicated and hardworking individual. So there would be, and I'm trusted as a pharmacist. We're the second most trusted profession in the country. And so I think that as far as trust and hardworking, I think that I've proven those. And now I feel like in my social media, you've seen me riding my bike. Yeah. I told them I'm ready to ride my bike to every neighborhood in Hilliard.
And I love that.
I'm ready to hear what the people want me to know. And I want to be able to tell them what's going on in city council when they're busy and they can't attend all our meetings. I will be out there in the neighborhoods. I will be out there speaking to people. I just want to hear what the residents have to say, because in the end, I'm just there to serve what our Hilliard residents want.
That's fantastic, Nadia. So what are your top 3 priorities if elected?
My connection to the parks, like you were saying, if our children are safe and our parks are, and our rails to trails are all connected and parents feel safe having their children play outside, that's a number one priority for me. Keeping our growth where the citizens want it, as far as the small businesses, the charm of Hilliard, watching the growth but keeping it at a controlled rate that we want, that benefits Hilliard. And the third thing that I'd like to see is I'd like to see some new, more high-tech businesses coming into Hilliard, more high-paying jobs, and those high-paying jobs will bring the employees,
True.
and those employees will be in Old Hilliard enjoying all the coffee shops and all the amenities that we have in Old Hilliard.
That's great vision. I mean, we know like Ohio now we have big investors in technology coming, to Ohio. So hopefully, like Hilliard, we get like a small piece of that, right? So you said you graduated from Ohio State, which is one of the greatest, colleges and universities in the country. How, universities can be affordable and available to our, young generation?
Well, that's a great question. All four of my kids went to Ohio State, and then two of my kids went to graduate school, and they're still paying loans off for graduate school because it's just I just think that it's not something that we can change at the local level, but the federal level, where our money, our tax dollars should stay here in the U.S. And not go to other countries. Yeah. We're paying for things that shouldn't happen in the world, and they shouldn't be using our tax dollars to do that. So that is at a federal level. It's not something that I will affect, but we have to start small, and that's why I said local politics is where I have to start.
Okay, it's a good start.
Yeah.
So how the local, cities can support like the school districts?
Oh, it's cool. The school districts are not part of like city council, but of course everything is entwined. So the city of Hilliard, first of all, about 30% of the city of Hilliard the schools are diverse.
Yes.
Right, and so we don't have any representation of that on the school board or on city council.
Yeah.
So I think that we need to start this way, and I'm hoping that I tell people that this journey that I'm going through right now, the political journey, I just hope that it encourages others to get involved. That they can see themselves in me, that they can feel like they can get involved, and we absolutely need that.
You are truly an inspiration for the different communities and for our community, and I think like a lot of people would like to follow your steps. So.
Well, I hope so, because it's needed. It took me, like they say, you have to ask a woman about 7 times before she'll run for office. So I had many years where people would ask me, and I was like, no, that's not me. But eventually, you're like, if I want to see the change, I have to be that change.
Why do you feel like you wasn't ready at that time? What changed?
What changed? I was working in the pharmacy, and I felt like, so I was helping the immigrants that were coming in. So I worked in Cemetery Road Kroger for 17 years, right? Mm-hmm. And then I moved to the Rome Hilliard Road Kroger when there was an influx of Iraqi refugees that came there.
Okay.
And so I was able to help that community. And I felt like, okay, I'm doing what I can. And then after I retired, I felt like, okay, I'm doing things now, but I'm not. But I need to make a bigger difference in Hilliard.
That's great.
Yeah.
This is fantastic, honestly. Like, I'm really enjoying talking to you. So, what message you have for people watching us and our audience? The floor is yours. You can send them a message and tell them what do you think, why do you want them to vote, when they can go to vote, and where.
Okay. First of all, it's important that our community shows up. I think that it's easy to complain about things going on locally or at the federal level or any part of government, but everybody says, but my vote won't count, I'm just one person. Especially in local politics, the difference between the winner and the loser is only about 200 votes. Mm-hmm. So every single vote counts. Your vote will matter. So election day is May 6th in Hilliard. If you can vote early, but voting early is on Morris Road. You can vote early Monday through Friday this week, 8 to 5. The weekend before election day, they are open on the weekends. And if anybody wants a ride if they want to vote early, they want to go to Morris Road, they can reach out to me on my Instagram page, and I will make sure. We're trying to get a group of people that want to go out together to vote
great,
and have a bus for them. So election day is May 6th. You can vote absentee if you're not going to be in town. If you're going to be traveling, you can reach out to me for an absentee ballot or go online. You can go on my website, www.Nadia, so NadiaForHilliard.com, and I have all the ways that you can vote. And it's just important that we stand up for ourselves. And if you want me to represent you and stand up for you, then I would appreciate your vote. Also, we have Samir Bazarbashi, who I've only met because of our campaigning together, and Dorothy Hassan. I recently met them as they were campaigning as well. Samir is great financially. He's a CIO. He really knows his dollars and cents. And Dorothy owns her own nonprofit, and she's a mom of 5 kids in Hilliard. Wow. And so I think that you have a lot of opportunities, and you can vote for 4 people in this election. So there's 7 people running, and you can vote for 4. And I hope that you would consider me and Samit and Dorothy as part of that. And I think that you will be very pleased with what we have to offer to Hilliard.
That's fantastic, Nadia. Well, I know you've been very busy, and you are very busy. Thank you so much for giving us the time and sharing, this beautiful moment with us. And I appreciate you, and I hope people will go and vote for you, Nadia.
Thank you.
I wish you good luck.
Thank you for having me. I appreciate you for reaching out, and I appreciate your audience for listening. And if they want to find out more, I'm willing to share more and let them in on, if they want to be part of my volunteer team, my campaign team, they're more than welcome to join. The more the merrier. I think we're all in this together.
That's fantastic. Well, thank you for your time, Nadia.
Yeah, thank you.
Appreciate it, and thanks for coming to our show.
Thank you so much. Thanks.